Hello everyone, welcome to Barca News. It is June 7th, 2025, and Cristiano Ronaldo, otherwise known in this channel as Penaldo, has had some pretty cool words about Lamine Yamal. I'm going to tell you what his statements was. Also, Chelsea making an offer to Barcelona for Fermin Lopez. And finally, Saudi, or Al Nassr to be more specific, are very interested in signing Eye Christensen. We have a lot to discuss. So let's begin. Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. My name is Mo, and we'll begin this video with the news that Penaldo, Cristiano Ronaldo, CR7 is set to face off against Lamine Yamal tomorrow in what will be the Nations League final between Portugal and Spain. And prior to this match, Ronaldo had the following to say about our young star. Lamine Yamal is doing very well, taking advantage of his talent. Let the kid grow. Don't put too much pressure on him. Let him be and grow well. Take the pressure off. He has no shortage of talent. So this is what Penaldo had to say about Lamine Yamal, saying that he has no shortage of talent, that he's developing well, and reminding everybody to please take the pressure off the player. He's only 17 years old, something that many of us continue to forget. He's only a child. Yes, he is a child, and that's not something bad to say that he's a child, because he technically is a child. So I think it's very important that we heed Ronaldo's words and remember that Lamine is a child. We need to take that pressure off, let him grow, let him develop, because that's only gonna make him even a better player than what he is, and he's currently the best player in the world. Now I have to say, this is very refreshing to hear from Ronaldo. I mean, is he finally transcending his ego? Because every time Ronaldo used to speak to the mics was to remind us all of how great he was and how he's the best in the history and how people hate him because he's so handsome and so rich. And here we have him, saying something pretty nice about Lamine Yamal, giving good advice in regards to Lamine Yamal. So my question is, is Ronaldo finally transcending his ego? And I really, really hope so, because here's the thing. As much as I like to poke fun at Ronaldo by calling him Penaldo, he is still one of the greatest players in the history of football. And as someone who has competed, at the highest level for the longest time and won everything there is to win at the club level, obviously Ronaldo has a certain acquired wisdom that's very, very unique. And it would be nice if Ronaldo, gets to share that wisdom with the world. We would all, I think, benefit from hearing what he has to say. Of course, aside from the fact that he's the best and he's the greatest and everybody hates him because he's rich and handsome. So if Ronaldo is truly transcending his ego, I think that would be absolutely amazing, because I would love to hear what Ronaldo has to say about, everything else. Not just his greatness, but other players, teams, coaches, experience with football, things like that. Because again, after all, that kind of wisdom that you acquire as being one of the greatest is pretty invaluable. All right, let's move on to the next bit of news, because ladies and gentlemen, Chelsea have made an offer for Fermin Lopez. Yes, it looks like Enzo Maresca. That's Chelsea's coach, right? They've gone through so many coaches, I've lost track. But yeah, I'm pretty sure it's Enzo Maresca. But Enzo Maresca requested from Chelsea that they sign an attacking midfielder, with Fermin Lopez being the preferred choice for Enzo Maresca in order to reinforce Chelsea's attacking midfield position. And it's reported that as a result of this request, Chelsea has officially approached Barcelona, where they have made a 70 million euro offer for Fermin Lopez. And in case Barcelona are not happy with the 70 million, Chelsea have made him a second offer, saying you can either have the 70 million or you can have Nkunku in exchange for Fermin Lopez. Now, if you don't know who Nkunku is, which I'm sure most of you already know, because, who doesn't? He's had an amazing season this past season. He's a 27-year-old center forward. Can also play as an attacking midfielder and a left winger. Had a pretty good season this past season, scoring 14 goals and providing 5 assists. And Chelsea have offered him in exchange for Fermin Lopez. Now, Barcelona are looking to reinforce their attack, but they're looking for a left winger, someone with a profile that's a similar profile as Nico Williams, Marcus Rashford, Luis Diaz, something like that. And Barcelona don't consider that Nkunku would fit that profile, even though, of course, Barcelona do appreciate the player and his skill and his talent, but it's not what they're looking for. Also, Barcelona are not looking to sell Fermin Lopez. Deco and the sporting department consider that Fermin Lopez is a very important player. Flick considers that Fermin Lopez is a very important player. So the club are not looking to sell him. So not only is Nkunku not a player that they're really interested in, but even the 70 million euros, they're not interested in because, again, Fermin Lopez is not for sale. Now, as far as the player himself, he has announced previously that he doesn't want to leave Barcelona, that he wants to stay at the club. So, of course, Barcelona have rejected both offers, the 70 million or Nkunku for Fermin Lopez, because, again, Barcelona have no intention of selling the player. The only way Barcelona would sell Fermin Lopez is if Fermin comes to Barcelona and says, hey, I want to leave. Please put me on the market. That would be the only situation. For now, Fermin is not for sale, and, of course, the player wants to stay. So Barcelona have rejected both offers from Chelsea. Now, speaking of offers, it's reported that the Saudi club Al Nassr wants to sign Andreas Christensen. Now, Saudi Arabia are currently looking to change their image, where their image became kind of like a retirement league for players who want to go there and cash out one last big check before they sell off to the sunset. And they're now looking for more players who are young, players in their prime. They want to change this whole image that this is only a league for 35-year-old players. And, well, as part of this effort to bring in more players who are, a little bit further from their retirement, they have eyed Andreas Christensen. And it's reported that they are willing to make a lucrative offers to Barcelona for the transfer of the Danish center back. Now, it's reported that Barcelona would be open to the sale of Andreas Christensen if they receive an offer, any offer north of 10 or 15 million euros. But for now, the player has decided that he wants to stay at the club. Now, of course, there is a new rule at Barcelona where no player will be allowed to stay at the club during his last year of contract, and Andreas Christensen is entering his last year of contract. So the two options would be either to transfer him or to extend his contract. Barcelona are more leaning towards a transfer, even though I do disagree with this. I think I would rather Christensen stay and Araujo be sold, but given that Araujo just renewed his contract until 2031, that's not going to happen. So it's looking like Andreas Christensen could end up being the sacrificial lamb. Now, hopefully I'm wrong. Hopefully Christensen stays because, again, I do prefer him under Flick than Araujo. But we're going to have to wait and see what happens. Now, the last bit of news is another twist in a very, very long saga called the saga of Raphael Leo. Because, ladies and gentlemen, we have a new twist in this saga. Raphael Leo was set to be sold by AC Milan after a disappointing season. And right when clubs who were interested in him were rubbing their hands, checking their bank accounts to see if they can afford signing him, we had a twist in the saga where AC Milan hired Max Allegri, and Max Allegri said, Leao is untouchable. He's not leaving. I want him to stay. He's going to be a cornerstone of my project. So then we went back to Leao is staying at AC Milan. But now we have yet another twist in the saga because Raphael Leo has now himself requested that he wants to leave AC Milan. So if we went from AC Milan want to sell him to AC Milan want to keep him to now the player wants to leave. And the rumors are saying that AC Milan would be okay with him leaving for around 70 to 75 million euros if they agree to his departure. For now, it's just the player asking for his exit. AC Milan have not agreed yet. But if they do agree, it's reported that it would cost 70 or 75 million euros to sign the Portuguese attacker. Now, for now, Barcelona will be tracking the situation. Doesn't mean that they will be going to sign him or make an offer for him. They're going to be tracking the situation to see what happens. It's reported that Bayern Munich are also tracking the situation very closely because they are interested in signing Leao. Now, my question to you is, would you like to see Leao at Barcelona? I personally wouldn't. He's an incredibly talented player, but very, very unpredictable, not very consistent. But of course, I am curious to hear what you guys think. All right, that is all for this video. I uploaded another video a few moments ago. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. Don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, drop a comment. And as always, Visca Barça.